Thank you for taking the time to explore automotive training with TAFE. The Certificate 2 in Automotive Vocational Preparation is a really good introduction to the automotive industry and to the concepts and principles involved in motor vehicles and how the industry works and what it's like to work in an automotive workplace. It serves as an excellent lead-in to Certificate 3 apprenticeship qualifications in one of the many different aspects of the automotive trade. I'll now hand you over to Steve Revel, one of our automotive teachers.
The teaching and learning approach used during this course is a mixture of blended learning, which will be some web-based theory, classroom activities, small groups, individual study, workbooks, also accompanied by workshop-based practical tasks and assessment as part of those tasks. There are 12 units of competency required to complete the full Certificate 2, and details of all of those units can be found on the website. In the next slide, I will give a brief overview of what those units will be. Here we have a list of the units involved in the qualification. The first 7 units that you see there are what are known as core units, which are commonly studied by anyone all around Australia who might be undertaking this course. The elective units at the bottom are units that have been chosen by TAFE to best represent the industry in Tasmania, and we'll be looking here at things like soldering repairs to wiring, pre-repair operations prior to working on vehicles, undertaking basic service operations, removing steering, suspension and brake system components, examining them for serviceability, and learning to use and maintain a range of basic mechanical measuring devices. Here's a look at some of our facilities. We have quite large and well-equipped workshop areas, classrooms for you to be working, undertaking your study and your practical tasks out in the workshops. As you can see, we've got quite a range of vehicles, machinery and equipment to give you a fairly wide range of experience at different sorts of vehicles and machinery and the components and systems that they share. So let's have a look at some of the learning activities involved in the mechanical stream. We'll begin with the basics, where we'll be learning around the various systems existing within our cars, things like braking, steering, suspension, electrical, cooling systems, exhaust systems, all the various systems that combine to operate our vehicles. We'll then move on into a practical sense where we'll be actually removing and reinstalling a number of vehicle system components back to a going or an operating condition. Learn to solder and repair automotive components, so we learn wiring repair techniques, crimping, soldering, insulating, heat shrinking, and things of that nature. And finally, we'll be looking at learning to undertake a basic vehicle service and safety check. Competency-based training, which leads to a nationally accredited qualification, requires various types of assessment to ensure that the students undertaking this qualification are learning, have the appropriate knowledge, and more importantly, can perform their skills to the level required by that qualification. So you can see here there is a list of assessment techniques, and some or all of these techniques will be involved in the process of undertaking this qualification. Let's have a look now at some of the potential career options that this qualification might take you towards. Gone are the days of the old motor mechanic and diesel fitter. We now have a wide range of quite specifically specialised qualifications in the automotive field. Starting off with light vehicle technician. This is probably the most popular qualification in the automotive trade in Tasmania, probably Australia as well. So light vehicles, we're looking at passenger cars, four-wheel drives, things like that. Then we have heavy vehicle. This particular qualification relates to road transport, so it's pretty much truck work. So heavy vehicle, heavy commercial road transport. Mobile plant technician. This is very, very popular. This one involves off-road, earth-moving type machinery and equipment, so the mining industry and those sort of things. This is the qualification for you. Motorcycle, we have a specific motorcycle qualification, which is a pretty exciting industry to be working in, and we've got that one there, which is also quite popular. Outdoor power equipment is small engines, chainsaws, brush cutters, lawn care equipment, that type of thing. And this qualification now is also moving very much into the cordless world, cordless electrical. Automotive electrical, we get a lot of automotive electrical apprentices. Everything these days is electrically or electronically controlled, so that creates quite a repair industry in itself. And finally, something that you may not have thought about, if hands-on is not necessarily for you, but you still love the automotive industry, parts interpreting. We can do a full qualification as an automotive parts interpreter in a dealership, and we have quite a few apprentices undertaking that qualification as well. So maybe a few more options here than you might really have first thought. Let's now go over to Adam, and Adam's going to start moving into the auto body information and giving us a bit of an insight into that industry.
Thank you for that, Steve. We'll now move on to the timetable for Semester 2. The course will be delivered in the south at the Southern Central Trade Training Centre based at Bridgewater, and in the northwest it will be from the Burnie campus. The course will commence late July through to November. Those exact dates are on our website. Training will be delivered across 3 days per week, Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 8:30am to 4pm. Now please note, if you're attending the Southern Central Trade Training Centre, you will need to have a Working with Vulnerable People card if you are aged 18 years or older. I want to hand you back to Steve and Adam, who's joining our presentation, to go through course fees and student support services, and also to review some frequently asked questions. Back to you, Steve and Adam.
If you look on the website, you'll find we have a fee calculator there, so you can use that calculator to determine what your fees might be. And be aware that the fees cover tuition only. There could be additional costs for things like personal protective equipment, safety clothing, and stationery items that you may require. Here we have a breakdown of those additional costs that I mentioned on the last slide. Our clear lens safety glasses must be to Australian standard. The safety footwear can be boots or shoes, whichever you prefer. Workwear can be full combination overalls or corporate workwear, such as your FXD style, your high-vis shirt and pants that we're all quite familiar with. People in the south at the Trade Training Centre, remember that Working with Vulnerable People card is a cost to the individual student when you make your application for that card, and that card is essential to attend the Trade Training Centre Bridgewater. If you find during your time with TAFE that you think you could benefit from additional assistance, we can offer our foundation skills team. These people can offer all sorts of assistance with really useful skills, reading or writing, maths or computer skills, study skills, things that we use every day in our daily lives and as we seek employment perhaps. So the foundation skills guys can work either with individuals or in a group to provide tutoring as a group or individual, and this can occur on campus or online also. If you think this is something that you'd benefit from, you can scan the QR code here on the screen now and book a one-on-one session with a foundation skills teacher, or you can liaise with your class teacher during your course who will put you in contact with that team.
If you need any assistance or support during our time at TAFE, we have plenty of support available. We have student counsellors, disability liaison officers, Aboriginal support officers. We can also give you advice about financial assistance, counselling, disability support and pathway planning. Call 1300 655 307 to make an appointment, or simply click on the student support section on our website.
Okay, so somebody's asking here, as a single parent, what happens if they get a call from the school about their child. TAFE is totally family friendly, and we commonly have people in this course with small children and who are caring. So certainly if you have to leave during the day or start a little bit late in the morning, leave a little bit early in the afternoon to pick up the kids or drop them off to school or care, that's absolutely fine. All we ask is that you let us know so that we're not looking for you at that time when we were expecting you to be here. I mentioned earlier personal protective equipment, PPE. Yes, there is a requirement that you provide your own PPE, have it here available at all times, and it must meet the relevant Australian standards. Now, this stuff doesn't have to be new. You're more than welcome to bring used second-hand PPE. That's totally fine, as long as it fits and is safe and functional and meets the Australian standard. That's totally cool. Safety glasses must be clear lens, not tinted. Safety boots, steel toe. They can be shoes or boots, slip-on, lace-up, whatever you prefer. Again, as long as they fit and have the appropriate steel toe cap. Combination overalls, we need long sleeve overalls, and again these can be quite expensive, so they can be quite often picked up at op shops and things like that. And the reason for the long sleeved overalls is that if you get a fuel spill or some battery acid on you or anything, you've got that layer of clothing that you can safely remove and not damage your street clothes underneath.
Question 3. I have a part-time job that might mean I'm not able to attend class, or I might get called into work early. Well, we are somewhat flexible with those sort of arrangements. The course does run for 3 days a week. We do expect you to be here in order to pass the course, but sometimes these things happen, so we can work that out.
So how do we apply? Applications will be open on Wednesday the 27th of May, starting at midday. From that date and time onwards, you can make your application, go to the website, Automotive section, and then select Certificate 2 in Automotive Vocational Preparation and hit the Apply Now button. Before applications do open, please take a chance to have a look at our Applying at TASTAFE video that's available on the website, which will help you with your application process. Before applying, there are a couple of things we really would like people to have in place before they apply. If you haven't already got one, you need to have a TASTAFE student account, which you can create at that point. And secondly, also, if you don't have one at this point, a unique student identifier or USI number needs to be applied for, and have that ready for your application. The Applying at TASTAFE video will give you details on how to do both of those things. Now, once you've applied, please be very mindful to keep an eye on your emails, as there will be further email communication regarding the outcome of your application, any further information that we might require, or what the next step in your application process might be.
Thank you for watching today. And to our teachers, Steve and Adam, thank you for that presentation. Should you have any more questions following our presentation, please email our automotive team at automotive@tafe.tas.edu.au. Thank you, and we look forward to you studying with us in the near future.